Hey guys, I'm Renee with Renee's Creative Casa, and I'm so excited you are here. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm so excited to be sharing with you guys what I will be working on today. So in today's video, we're going to be making a charcuterie, which if you're not familiar is like a meat and cheese tray with maybe some nuts and some fruits, some dried fruits, and some jams or jellies and different types of little sauces on there. So I am going to be making this today, and I want you guys to follow along. So without further ado, let's get to preparing. Okay guys, so when you are thinking about preparing a charcuterie, you need to first decide what types of items you are going to put in it, as well as the type of board or pan or bowl you're going to be using. So I have some crackers here, and I have some salami and some prosciutto with some pepperoni. And then I have these little ramekins. I have some little circle ones and some little square ones. And then I have some dill pickled carrots, as well as some Kalamata olives and some green olives. I also have some Clausen pickles. And then over here I have some yogurt covered cranberries, as well as lots of dried fruit. So I have figs and apricots, banana chips, and I also have some pineapple. And then I have several different types of cheeses. So I have the manchego, blue cheese, Gouda. I have the brie. I have some goat cheese covered in the wild blueberries, as well as the soft spreadable cheese. Oh, this cheese right here, it actually has dried apricots in it, so it is really good. It did turn out to be like one of the better ones on our tray, and as well as this one. This one is really good as well. So these are all the cheeses that I have, and I may not use them all, but I wanted to make sure when I was purchasing the cheeses that I had enough to cover my entire tray. So now these are the nuts I have. I have the pistachios, the almonds, and then I have these honey roasted pecans, as well as some cocktail peanuts. And on the pistachios, I did get the ones that were already peeled. I have this spicy pepper jelly, as well as a triple berry jam. And then I have this uncured bacon jam. I did not try that one, but my husband said it's good. So I'm going to start out by setting up my centerpiece of my charcuterie, which is actually going to be some meat roses that I'm putting together. And I am making those by taking a wine glass. I actually have two different size glasses here. So the bigger one is going to be for my pepperoni, and I'm just going to start by folding it over the top of the wine glass. And I'm just going to try to make sure I fold that pretty good in half, because if you don't, it will start to open up. So then once you get all four sides done on this first layer, you just kind of want to go in between each layer, each kind of intersection of where the other ones meet at. So you can see where that one and those two meet at. I'm just going to kind of put this one right over the top of it and fold it down as well. And then I'm just going to keep building this up until I get the glass full. And then see how this is kind of raggedy there. You want to make sure that you're putting it on to the outside, where once you flip your rose over, you won't be able to see it. So once you get your glass filled into the inside, you're just going to take a last piece of pepperoni or a piece of meat, whatever type of meat you happen to be working with, and kind of roll it in almost like a circle, and then kind of make it flat at the bottom. And you want to stick that down inside of there, so that's going to make like the little bloom part for your actual rose. So you guys see here how I'm twisting it, and then I'm just going to stick it in there, and I'm just going to kind of lay that down flat. So when I get ready to put it out on my pan, it will be flat in the middle, and the glass just slides right off. And then you have this beautiful little rose made out of pepperoni. So I'm actually going to do two more. I'm going to do it out of the salami that I have in this little trio of salami here. I'm going to use all of them except for the black pepper crusted one, because I feel like the black pepper crusted one may be a little bit strong, and not everyone may like that. So I'm just going to do the other two that are in there, and you guys can see I'm using the same technique, except for I'm just using a smaller glass. So these two little Salami Roses will be smaller than my pepperoni one, but my pepperoni one is going to be right in the middle of my charcuterie, so I wanted it to be the bigger one and then the little ones be on either side of it. Now that I have all the little roses made that I'm going to be making for this tray, I'm going to start putting on the prosciutto. And once you open it up, it does come thinly sliced, and each little slice has a piece of little plastic in there. So I'm just going to be folding this over on itself and make a couple of different rolls of this on either side of my charcuterie. And then I will begin to fill in with some cheeses. So I'm going to start with the blue cheese, and I do want to make sure that I am putting like the prettier side of the cheese up towards the top, and then I'm going to start adding in some of the other types of cheeses that I have. You always want to make sure that you have on your board some hard cheeses, like more firm cheeses, and then some softer cheeses, and you can also do some with different textures on it. So this cheese right here, it actually is a very firm cheese. It is a made in Spain type of cheese. So you can eat the rind on this, but since a lot of people are not, maybe don't want to eat the rind, I just went ahead and cut it off. I didn't decide to leave it on like I do with the brie, because the rind on the brie is edible, but and most people will at least try the rind on the brie, but I didn't want to put this on the board and worry if someone would be concerned with the rind on there. So I did go ahead and cut the rind off the side, and then I just put it up on the side like that. This is the cheese that has the dried apricots in it, so you guys can see that it is really a beautiful cheese. And after I got all these cubes cut up, I did have one for myself, and it was delicious, and my husband enjoyed it as well. Okay, so this goat cheese is more of like a medium textured cheese, I would say. And this particular one is covered in wild blueberries. It is very delicious. So I'm just going to use that whole roll, and I'm just going to put it face down on the charcuterie. Once I get ready to start cutting my brie, you do kind of want to stick in more of a triangle pattern when you're cutting the brie, and since I had messed up my first cut on the brie, it kind of threw my triangles, my rectangles, whatever they are, my triangles off a little bit. So they weren't all perfect triangles, but it did turn out really nice anyways. And as you guys can see, I do leave the rind on this, and I'm just kind of stacking it on top of each other inside my charcuterie. I am about to move my charcuterie board over so you guys can see exactly how I have placed some of those cheeses in there, because I did I was cutting the cheese over there by the board, and I didn't realize that I wasn't showing you guys exactly how I was putting everything on here. So here I am. You guys can see that I am kind of you know, moving my cheese around a little bit back and forth, trying to decide exactly how I want it on there. And I do decide that this is how I like it, so I'm going to keep it this way. Now this next cheese, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but it does have like the little garlic and herbs in it, and it is really, really good. It's kind of like a cream cheese texture, so I would say it's a softer type of cheese, much like the brie. It is spreadable, so it does spread on the crackers or bagels or baguettes really, really good. And I'm just going to take a big spoon of that, and then I'm going to take another spoon and just make like quenelles out of it. And I'm going to lay one down on either side of my pepperoni rose. So this is all the cheese that I'm going to put on this board. So now I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to put my little ramekins in there. I did have these oval shaped ones as well as some little square ones that I showed you guys at the beginning. And I do decide that I'm using the oval ones for this one. And then I do go back and put on some square ones too. So you guys stay tuned for that. So I'm going to put in one of these ramekins, the Kalamata olives, because they do have a lot of liquid on them, so I don't really want the liquid running on my charcuterie board a lot. So I did want to make sure I had those contained somewhere. And then I'm just going to put my jams in the other one. So I had the uncured bacon jam, the triple berry jam, as well as a hot jalapeno jam. And now I'm just going to start filling in around these ramekins and the meat and cheese with some of the dried fruit. So I started with the pineapple, and then that was the banana chips. And then this is the yogurt covered cranberries, but I decided I don't like that. So I'll show you guys how I fix that in a few minutes. These are the figs, and a lot of people do like dried figs. So I do at the end go back and put on more than those few that I have there. So I decided I did not like those little raspberries, the cranberries like that, just loose. So I decided to put them in a little square ramekin. And since I had one on that side, I decided I had to put one on the other side. But I will go back in there and add that in a few minutes. Now, so I'm going to add it right here. And then I kind of already know what I'm going to put in there. So I just keep moving on with my dried fruit. Now, these are apricots. So I'm just going to put these in and around the prosciutto, in between the prosciutto and the jalapeno jam. And I do decide to go back and put in a few more of those as well. And now I just need to figure out exactly how I want to leave my ramekins, because I am about to fill in all of that blank space there. And once I get everything put in, I'm not really going to want to move it again. So I want to make sure I have everything. So you guys can see in the square ramekin, I went in with a lot of cocktail peanuts, because those are always a hit on a charcuterie. Now these are pistachios and the honey roasted pecans. The honey roasted pecans are a salad topper, but they are really, really good. Now right around the top of that pepperoni rose, I'm going to go in with a lot of almonds, because also almonds, a lot of people really love almonds. I personally myself cannot stand almonds, but I want to make sure I put a lot in there for everyone else. And now I'm getting ready to go in with the crackers. I'm going to be using these bagel crisp, and I'm going to put a lot of those in. Some of these are broken, so I am trying to use the larger ones, the larger pieces. And I'm trying to stack them where they can kind of all sit on top of each other, and where the brown part of the crust is at the top, if it is a broken one. Now these are the 34 original crackers. I did pick up an original. I picked up the rosemary, and I also want to say that I picked up a cheddar seasoned one, but I ended up only using the original and the rosemary. So you guys can kind of see how I'm going back in there with the bagel crisp right now, and just making sure that there's enough in there, first of all, and then secondly that it looks nice. Now, after I put in the original little crisp, I'm going to go back in with the rosemary ones. I am going to put them over by the banana chips, and since they already have that rosemary herbal flavor to them, I want to go ahead and put my pickles in over there because they are the Clausen sandwich spears. So I am going to put them over there by those crackers as well. That way, if those crackers do absorb a little bit of the juice from the pickles, it won't really affect them a lot. And I think that was a good idea because in the end, they did absorb some of the pickle juice, but it wasn't enough to change the taste in the crackers really. Now that I have my pickles in, I'm going to go around to where all the blank spots are and fill in with these large olives. This is the queen size olives, and they are pimento stuffed. I did not want to do the ones with the pit in them, even though those, to me, those ones are better because I am putting on a charcuterie, and I didn't want the people who were eating them to feel like they needed to take the pits out of their olives. So I did just go ahead and do the pimento stuffed ones. And for the most part, I know that if people like the green olives, then they are okay with eating the pimento cheese stuffed ones. So I think this was a good decision. But you guys can see that I'm just going in and around where the ramekins are and where there's any blank spots and just putting in the olives. Now, some of the olive juice will run off of this, but most people who are snacking on a charcuterie are okay with some of the foods touching together. You just want to make sure when you're getting ready to prepare one of these charcuteries for, you know, people to come to your home or guests or anything like that, that no one is allergic to nuts before you start putting them on there. Or, of course, the dairy, unless you just want to make an exception. So these are the dill pickled carrots. They are very beautiful and they are delicious, but I decided I was going to put them down here at the end where I have my cocktail nuts. And then I decided I didn't like them there because my rose, the salami rose in the middle, kind of got squished when I was adding them in there. So I decided I wanted to just move them, and it would just be safe to put them down by where the pickles were already. So I just went ahead and moved them back down there. Now I'm going to go in and add some more pineapple around where I have the little ramekin here, because I do see that there is a little open spot right there. So I wanted to make sure that I had that filled in. And then once I got all that filled in, I'm going to go in with my little tags. These are just little marble markers, and they have just a little piece of chalk with them. And then these are the little utensils for my charcuterie. And once I have all the little cheeses labeled and I have my little silverware in, then this is how the entire little board turned out. I'm super pleased with it. I will link the labels and the utensils in the description box down below. I picked up both of those from Amazon. And this really large tray that I have this on is actually an oyster tray. It is like a galvanized tin tray that I picked up several years ago, I think at like a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx or something like that. But it is really long, and I think that it was perfect for this charcuterie. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Hey y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me put together this beautiful charcuterie, and I do hope that you guys picked up some inspiration, and that for your next gathering or your next get together, you will remember this YouTube video. I will save this video in my recipes playlist so you guys can go back and check that out. If you're new here, I hope that you will consider liking this video as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel and turning on your post notifications so you never miss a video from me. I normally upload new videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So those are the days that you guys can be prepared to catch a new video from me. I am currently working on some recipes as well as some spring and Easter decorations. So you guys can definitely be on the lookout for those. Thanks again for watching.